Good evening and welcome to TalkSports, our weekly sports program where we speak with the movers and shakers of sports. The sportsmen, sportswomen, sports administrators, coaches, everyone involved in sports, directly or indirectly. As indicated earlier in the week, that our special guests, and I said guests in terms of plural, representing the Grenada Amateur Swimming Association. And we welcome the Grenada Amateur Swimming Association for the first time. It means that for the first time um, in our program, we'll be actually having representation from the swimming fraternity. And of course, swimming, as you know, has been making waves in Grenada for many years. But there's been an argument whether or not swimming has really been getting what it really deserves. So I've invited the president, Mr. Neil Francis, as well as the public relations officer, Beverly Benoit, and they will discuss with us the issues regarding swimming in Grenada from the Grenada Amateur Swimming Association perspective, as well as their plans and ongoing, as well as future plans, as well as the upcoming swimming championships. That's the Carifta Swimming Championships, I think, to be staged in Barbados. But we'll get lots of information from there. But first of all, let me introduce first Mr. Neil Francis. Well, Neil is not in North Carolina. I am in North Carolina. Neil is actually in St. George's, Grenada, and also Beverly Benoit, who is the public relations officer. So I want to say a good evening to both of you.
Hi, good evening, Mike. Thank you for having us.
Right.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us too, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here.
Right. And as indicated in my intro, swimming has been, uh, you know, making its waves, I should say, just as track and field, just as football, just as cricket. And even without the sort of resources and the sort of facilities as the others, but when swimming is representing Grenada, there's good representation one, and there's always this level of expectation because we know swimming has a long tradition of being competitive and being competitive among the region in terms of swimming. So first of all, Neil, let me congratulate you because you're the newly elected president of the Grenada Amateur Swimming Association. And I think Beverly is also a newly elected member of the executive. However, these people have been involved in swimming for a while. But first of all, Neil, let me start off with you. How it has been going so far since you assumed the presidency of GASA?
Well, first of all, I say thank you. Thank you again for having us on this program that we can discuss the business of swimming in Grenada and the region. Uh, I see the term thus far has been somewhat challenging. I'll say why it's challenging is because of the time that the world is going through with the so-called pandemic or what is left of it. It still has been challenging for us because swimming was one of the sports that was greatly affected, considering that there is only one facility that we use on a regular basis in Grenada. And because of the inadequacy in terms of size and so forth, and then with all the COVID restrictions, many of our athletes were unable to compete to the level that they would have liked to, or to be able to continue with the level of training and whatnot that they would have liked to. But by and large, I think we are a strong and a resilient people, and we've been able to come through, and we're trying to make our best efforts, to put our best foot forward to try to get back into the water and try to get back swimming competitively as the region and the world is beginning to open up somewhat reluctantly and somewhat with much precaution and so forth. But we are ready and we are trying our best to be able to get back into the swimming arena and to be able to make some marks or to be able to stir up some waves, as you would have said earlier.
I love that aspect of stir up some waves. But obviously, lots of challenges, as you indicated. Yeah, folks have been a bit hesitant to an extent in terms of coming back out and things like that. So, but are you getting the feeling that your constituents, that's your swimmers, are eager to get back splashing?
Yes, there is definitely an eagerness, to get back to where we were. I mean, there are some persons who are still reserved in terms of the fact that COVID has not gone entirely. It's still lingering, unfortunately. I mean, some people have been saying that it's going to be with us for quite some time. So it means that we just have to adjust. It means that we have to take the necessary precautions, put in place the necessary protocol and maintain it, and to be as safe as we can. But at the end, what is most important is to be able to engage the swimmers and to keep them intrigued and to keep them wanted. One of the hardest challenges that we had was keeping our swimmers motivated. The fact that people were not able to socialize and meet and train together as they are accustomed. The swimmers had a hard time. And so being out of the pool for such a long time, when the time came to resume, there was some reluctancy, and as a matter of fact, our numbers have still not gotten back to where it was, but definitely we're seeing interest. There are schools where programs would have been started. Schools have been calling, inquiring about when they can return and so on. So there's definitely an interest, and we're looking forward to what we'll be able to do in the near future.
Hmm. And Beverly, similar to you in terms of your getting your feet wet and getting involved at that level of the association at a time when there are so many challenges, particularly COVID. You know, what can you tell me in terms of all the protocols involved regarding swimming and getting swimmers back into the pool bed?
Well, first of all, we have to get activities going. Prior to COVID, we have had school meets and so on. We have had inter-college swim meets. We have had primary school swim meets. We have had open water meets on the Carenage, from the Carenage to Grand Dance. And we have had several activities that kept them interested. And like Neil said, COVID came and things got interrupted. So, in terms of protocol, we have to plan events and get the events executed. And we are working on that actually. It's a matter of having it planned, inviting the various organizations, the various schools and so, and having it executed, basically.
Let me say good evening to you, Rudy and Sylvan, Toronto, always in the house. Um, and thank you for locking in. I know it's a busy night, but always willing to, and I'm certain that you want to throw some suggestions to our panel this evening, especially from a Canadian point of view. But regarding you know the young swimmers, because that's basically what your constituents basically
Mm.
make up of
Oh,
young swimmers, right? I don't think we have the experience and veteran swimmers as as other countries per se, but we particularly have those young swimmers, and it therefore adds to your whole developmental process, meaning that most of your focus, if I'm not correct, has to do with targeting the young ones who are just learning, as we say, just learning to splash, developing their skills and talents, and getting them ready for competitions.
Yes.
so we do have club training and we have training
Right.
for
Club training.
learning
Yeah.
swim.
Mhm.
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 Well, at present, there are two main clubs. I think there's another club, but I have not seen them active at the pool. Maybe they train somewhere else. But we have two main clubs at present, and we have Learn to Swim. Very young children learning to swim. Okay. Apart from that, they grow up, they get transitioned into a little older age group and so on. We have produced quite a bit of more, can say more elite swimmers from among them, because all of them started from very young. For example, we have produced Issa Simpson, all of them trained at Good Hope. We have produced
Cherubin.
Ore Cherubin,
Right.
Corey and Corey Olivier.
Yeah.
We have produced, there was Melissa Ashby. All of these were persons who started very young and had gone on, participated in, or competed, I should say, in the Olympics. We have at present some more senior swimmers who have been participating in several regional and international games. Just recently, we had a few of them going to the first Colombian Games. We have had the FINA Games in Abu Dhabi. Is it Abu Dhabi, Neil? Yeah.
Yes.
So, we have people swimming. We also have persons who were involved in the FINA scholarship, getting trained. Like Kerry Olivier was there. Now Grenada Benoit is there.
Right.
And we have some senior swimmers who are actually competitive swimmers, and they are passionate about the sports and they are working on it. So it's not just we have young swimmers. We do have some older ones who are progressing very well and having competed in many regional and international games. We have had Anika Charles, we have Kimberly Inns, the most recent, I didn't call Delron Felix. So we have had quite a few of them. Did I leave out anybody? And
you may end up leaving out in that, because I mean there are so many who have
there's quite a few.
Yeah,
and they
come
have
through.
all, yes, and they have all started at Good Hope.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Good Hope in that, because I'm certain there are people who hearing Good Hope and frowning and and wanting to know, well, still Good Hope.
Yeah, but I want to say something more about Good Hope now, and I want to make mention of Mr. Michael Davidson.
Right.
Most of the even the coaches, some of the coaches, and some of the many of the swimmers we see today actually started under Mr. Davidson, and Mr. Davidson was the one. He was very instrumental in the initiation of the Good Hope swimming pool. And if I should relate, he actually, the pool Mr. Davidson related to me was initiated in 1984. And do you know that the very first OECS, well, it was held in Antigua, but do you know that Grenada actually hosted the second OECS meet? And I think Mr. Davidson had a part to play in the initiation of the OECS meet as well. The second OECS meet was actually held in Grenada at the Flamboyant Hotel. Okay. Following that, I think they went back to Antigua in 1993, and then back to Grenada in 1994. It was held at the Good Hope swimming pool. That then was the fourth OECS held in Good Hope. And thereafter, according to Mr. Davidson, we hosted 5 consecutive OECS meets at the Good Hope swimming pool. But today, the pool remains the same, and all the other OECS islands have upgraded their pools. Okay? So we are now looking to see how we can get our new pool project started, so we can at least start hosting more OECS again, because you will realize we have had to be traveling to either St. Lucia, to Antigua, to St. Vincent. Even St. Vincent has upgraded their pool. And we have been going there now to have meets because they have all got upgraded pools. So we have to try to fall in line so we can also host meets, and it can bring lots of revenue to Grenada, just as it can become comparative to cricket, because we can talk sports tourism. If we have a pool here, we can bring people in to train, we can hold meets, and when we have these meets, many people follow, parents follow, lots of supporters follow, and travel to the various countries to support these meets. So I know if we actually get a pool, a proper pool here, we can be hosting meets and it can bring revenue through tourism for Grenada.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I know, for example, even when, like Bahamas, for example, will charter a flight to take swimmers and parents and supporters to the
Yes.
swimming championships in Barbados, because,
Mhm.
and I know that because they're making arrangements so that when the aircraft is going back up, it will take um, supporters and probably some team members from the Southern Caribbean to the character games in Jamaica. Okay,
Yep.
it's
Yes.
something
Yes.
the Bahamas Air was trying to arrange from the south to come up. But just to let you know that they are coming down to the south with a charter plane, with their
Mhm.
swimmers, with
Mhm.
their parents, and with spectators. And it just reiterates the point you were making in terms of the actual aspect of sports tourism. So, Neil, the question is, as GASA's president and as one in charge now of leading the affairs of the Swimming Association, what is the push from the Grenada Amateur Swimming Association point of view to ensure that the long talked about, long awaited, long promised swimming pool becomes a reality?
Well, I would first like to say that I agree with you that it's been long coming, because the truth is I have had many friends when I grew up who actually swam. I never competed in swimming, but I had friends who I would often go to support at meets, and ever since those days, there was a lots of talks about a pool for Grenada. There was, from what I understand, there was property earmarked for this and all of that, and then other factors that came into play that it never um, came into fruition. But we have been endeavoring to ensure that this dream, this long lasting dream, becomes a reality. As a matter of fact, we are currently at the stage of, well, I would like to add that that some property would have been provided by the government of Grenada at the National Stadium compound, where it's going to be the site for the new pool. And as a matter of fact, we have started the preliminary works in terms of the engineering and so forth. And actually, it's a lot of work. I mean, it sounds like just getting a pool. That's what many people would have thought. And now that we're actually getting into getting or begun the process of making that become a reality, now we're understanding how much more it actually involves. Because we don't want to just have a pool that it's not going to, as Beverly said, having a pool, one, we have to have the facility that we can, proper facilities that we can utilize, but also we want to be able to have a pool that we can actually host the events and so forth. And in terms of being able to get certification and so forth, we've had talks and so forth with the pool providers who are actually certified by FINA and so forth. And it and so that process, we've gone past that process. We've selected a pool provider and so forth, and we're at the stage of doing the preliminary engineering and so forth, and consultancy work plans and so forth are in the process of being drawn up and so forth. So I think we're well on the way. It is a very costly venture even now, because in terms of the finding funds to pay the engineers and so forth for the preliminary works, it has been a costly venture for us thus far. But we're determined to make it happen. I think the children deserve it. I think Grenada deserves it in terms of, because we've had swimmers who have had potential and who have been making marks uh, for quite some time. And I think they really deserve to have proper facilities for training so that they can meet the fullest of their potential. And it's also going to be able to open up so many opportunities for Grenada, as Beverly would have mentioned, in terms of persons coming here to train. We have persons who utilize our national stadium, international athletes, and cricket teams and so forth, who sometimes come here to train and so forth. And just likewise, we may have swimmers or swim teams that may be looking for places in the Caribbean that they can come to train and so forth. And so we're looking forward to be able to having a host of activities at the new facility.
And shall I add, Michael, apart from just coming to train, there are other sports that can be done in the pool. We can have water polo, we can have synchronized swimming. I think they have all these activities at the character games. We can introduce all these other activities for people to participate in or to compete in. So the pool can do a lot for us, and I can assure you we will be working in our tenure to ensure that this becomes a reality. We have
What about the issue regarding the maintenance cost?
it's a
Yeah.
cost venture, and well, that's why I said we will be working. Um, while we cannot mention everything, but there will
Mhm.
be um, certain things organized to be able to come up with the funding to maintain all of it. Because once we have the pool, we have to be able to maintain it. So we have to determine ways of having this done. And I think um, we have to be less pessimistic and just keep focused on getting it done. And I think it can happen.
Mhm. But based on what you said, President, it appears that quite a lot has been put into that, and it's
Mhm.
basically at an advanced stage
Yes.
because you're talking about the engineering and all these sort of things, the cost factors taken into consideration, and but that's good to hear, and hopefully that the swimmers and by the way, I think people should also understand that we have had a number of swimmers, and Bev, you would have mentioned some of these swimmers, the
Mhm.
names, and some of those have actually got scholarships through swimming. you
Mhm.
know, they have
Yeah.
been
Correct.
able to go overseas and study, and it was through swimming. A number of them were able to do that. We should also bear the fact that swimming has paid its dues. And I think that the swimmers, whether those who are fast or those who are coming or those who are there now, they deserve something better.
And I think it's swimming is a any sport, swimming included, is I see it as an enhancement towards our social and human resource, our social capital and human resource. You
Mhm.
see, once persons are involved and have a goal and something that they're interested in, it helps because it's less young people having nothing to do and idling and getting into trouble. And swimming does that. If I can recall, all the swimmers I've known, I'm also an educator and I've taught in schools. So after school, all the swimmers I've known, after school, they don't have time to go and just hang out,
Mhm.
you know, stand and hang out by the bus terminal and just, you know, they had activities at school, then left school and had to rush to the pool to get a training. Some of them get up 3 and 4 in the morning to get to the pool at 5 to train. Yes. And for the competitions and whatever it is they have to do, but they actually it creates a discipline and it produces better human resource for Grenada. So I see it as a multifaceted there's multifaceted benefits from it. You cannot just we don't just have persons just swimming just for swim's sake. People swim for leisure, some of them swim for competition, and it helps them overall and they keep healthy and everything. So we really need a pool that we can continue producing productive Grenadians.
Mhm. And yeah, go ahead, Neil. Sorry.
Sorry, added to that, I mean, as Beverly would have mentioned, it definitely helps keep the youths focused, help them to be able to put some structure and so forth, right? There's a lot of disciplinary measures and so forth that swimming helps. It would help the holistic development of the athletes, as well as I would like to add, Mike, that swimming, we've been told time and time again that, and it's been proven by research that swimming, it actually helps to work almost every muscle group in the body. So it means that swimming can also be introduced into other disciplines, for instance, track athletes, cricketers, footballers, so forth. I mean, with this facility, we're not looking at 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 keeping the facility for our Grenada's competitive swimmers only, but with proper facilities, would be able to offer something for the rest of the athletic disciplines in terms of being able to put some more into their training. Maybe that they can spend some time swimming to help develop themselves for the actual sporting disciplines that they participate in.
Yeah, well, not just like the point, I agree with it and I know about it because in other countries, you know, a swimming pool, as a matter of fact, is a very important aspect for um, for sportsmen and sportswomen in
That's
terms
right.
of their development and training and all these sort of things. So yes, so a swimming pool and one with the proper facilities and things like that. So I'm certain will go a long way in enhancing. And I'm still saying, and I've said that before, if it's one sport that has been shortchanged over the years, well, I see Pamela Cherubin is saying good evening there, and Pam knows I've been saying that for quite a while, is swimming because they have produced so many quality swimmers in the sub-region, and not just OECS, but you talk about CSCAN, and they find their niche within the regional landscape, right? They may not have won medals internationally, but competitively, they are there among, the best in the region. But yet for all, when you look at what they are training and competing, you wonder what is really happening and whether or not, could you imagine if Grenada had the facilities like some of the other competitors, like challengers, I should say, like St. Lucia, for example. And yet for Grenada is neck and neck, winning, and sometimes it's not winning, probably just by a few points, being edged out. And you talking about just the facility at Good Hope, and to some extent, probably at times, a hotel, using a hotel facility, etc., etc. I have to say kudos to, well, to GASA, you and Bev, thing, and all the others who have been there before and still there, for really tagging along because it could be frustrating. It could be frustrating because you're producing these quality swimmers, yet for with, substandard facilities, and year after year, you participating in competitions, invited championships, whether it's in Trinidad, Barbados, wherever you're there. But look what you have to train on there. I mean, you know,
Mhm.
um, swim teams go to Trinidad, Barbados, and other Caribbean countries to train every summer. Okay, Palm is saying that as well. But
And Songo too.
yeah. So how would you ensure? Because in the intro, Bev, you spoke about the clubs, but we have those, and at one point in time, we had the intersecondary school. I think a few years ago, probably prior to COVID, we had the intersecondary school championships.
Mhm.
How can you ensure that that continues, that is maintained, and in addition to that, in our prior conversation too, expanding to other schools, to other, bringing in um, folks from, even if it means from the outer parishes, as I indicated before, they were the open swim championships, where the folks from Guave and Fontenoy, participated on the beach, you know. Um, how can you ensure that as part of GASA, you expand your swimming program?
Basically, we organize it and we invite them to participate. We like I said before, we have had intercollegiate swimming competitions. I think this only didn't happen over the couple of years gone because of the same COVID. We hope to re restart it. Once it's organized, we invite the schools. We have to get swimming back in the schools. The schools, now that things seem to have gone back to normal, I believe that the schools will start back having the young ones train. And once they're training, we will have the competitions and we'll have the competitions organized and invite the schools to participate because it's one of our plans.
Mhm. That's what
Mike,
again.
We have things planned, and it's one of them.
Mhm. Yeah, Neil.
Mike, that is what we are here for. I mean, if I can interject, I mean, as an association or as a swimming federation, we are here to facilitate. So there are clubs who are actively involved and who are very enthusiastic about uh, continuing swimming and even expanding and so forth. There are other programs uh, that, for instance, there's another organization that does Learn to Swim, that organizes Learn to Swim, and it's also affiliated with GASA that does Learn to Swim at different times around the islands. For instance, there's Easter coming up. I think I don't remember the dates, but there's a series of Learn to Swim activities that will be that will be happening around that time. And so even activities like this will help to spark interest from the outer parishes and so forth, and to get people on board. Because once I recognize and identify talent, you whether regardless of where it's from, then you're able to put the logistics in place and so forth, make the necessary arrangements to be able to get them swimming competitively and so forth. Because it's not only the St. George's area. We've had amazing swimmers who have come from outer areas who have been introduced into. My children, for instance, first got introduced to swimming at a school program, at an introductory course done by the same Mr. Davidson that Beth would have mentioned, and now they are swimming competitively. And there are many other children who are swimming competitively now who first got introduced through school programs and other forums like those.
Mhm. And going back to the whole issue of the pool, the facilities, it's sort of disadvantage because Good Hope is a 25-yard facility, right?
Correct.
And when you go to the character and other championships, you're talking about whether it's 25 meters, 50 meters, etc., etc.
That's
The
right.
whole conversion and disadvantage that our swimmers have. Can you speak about that?
Well, one of the I can say yes, it is a disadvantage to our swimmers because the truth is there are some meets that you will participate in where they would have to compete in a 50-meter pool. Just imagine, as you would have said, constantly training in a 25-meter pool. In terms, if you have to think of a swimmer, for instance,
25
building
yard, 25 yard, eh?
in a 25 yard, sorry.
Yeah.
Just imagine if you from transitioning from a 25 yard and having to swim in a 25-meter or 20 or 50-meter pool to compete in, especially when you're for instance, where scientists and so will tell us about muscle memory and things like that. So we get ourselves accustomed to an environment of swimming in a 25-yard pool. And just imagine you go to a competition and you have to swim in a 50-meter pool where the body is accustomed to making a flip turn. You have to swim more than double that before you can make a turn. So it sets our swimmers at a disadvantage in terms of helping them build endurance and so forth. That is part of the reason why we are pushing for such a facility.
Wow. You just talking about that there, and it's still bringing memories as to how it is then that our swimmers are able to accomplish that because they are going and compete against swimmers who swimming
Hmm.
in a normal scheme of training. Okay, there's no conversion for them. They
Yes.
they train in a 25 or 50-meter pool. They swim in a 25 or 50-meter pool. But in the case of Grenada, you have to do all the conversion and whatever it is. But yet for all, they're still able to dominate. And again, it makes the point that having a facility is very important for
Definitely.
our young swimmers. Um, Therefore, in addition to that, Neil and Bev, what's about our corporate brothers and sisters, corporate Grenada, having them on board, having them being part of the process? Because, of course, if you do have a facility, as you say, you will need that sort of support to ensure that you can host and stage tournaments and all these sort of things. As you indicated, it's not just swimming. You could have water polo. You could have all these other meets and things like that. So how about corporate Grenada getting on board?
Michael, I will give the first response. It's probably one of the reasons I how should I say it, that I made sure I got in touch with you. Big for the mere fact that you're always having these programs and it is aired worldwide. And we're not just looking at corporate Grenada, we are looking at corporate world. So so it's one of the reasons probably I probably I should say track you down because I thought we should get involved with you so that there will become some awareness because we need to raise funds. And like I said, it's not everything I might want to mention here, but we are looking at certain things that can be done. That's all I could say for now.
Mhm. And the probably the president may want to add something as well.
Yes, I mean, as you mentioned, corporate Grenada, I would like to say, however, that swimming has continued over the years because we have had some committed partners, for want of a better word. There are some corporations in Grenada that would lend a hand. Uh, of course, we would love to have more. We would love to have some other stakeholders come on board to help the whole in terms of making uh, some some forward movement, because the swimming is, I mean, the truth is it is a very costly sport in terms of the maintenance of the facilities and so forth, and for so we have so many committed parents and other stakeholders who would help from time to time to keep the dream alive and to keep the sport happening. And so, as I said, probably not enough as we would like to have. So we would like to make an invitation even now to those who are listening, to persons because we know, as Beverly said, you have a wide listenership and people who look forward to your programs every week and so forth. And we're hoping that even through this medium that we can spark some interest and help get some other players on board to make the facility a reality, and to also to help swimming expand, and to for us to really make some marks in the swimming arena.
Mhm. Well, I really want to thank you folks for accepting the invitation, even if it was an invite to me, but extending it as well, and being part of the process, because I think this is a conversation we need to have. We have been talking about it for quite a while. In fact, I am laughing because Pamela is saying that it's about time. My son is in his 30s, and the promise was made when he was swimming at 9, and
Hmm.
and I was saying that I recall since I was active in the media, I've been hearing that, I've been reporting on that, and I can tell you it's more than 20 years now. So
Yes.
Pam, you on the ball in terms of that sort of timeline, and I think it's something we have been hearing time and time again, and that even before, as a matter of fact, even before stadium, there was the swimming pool talk. Stadium came, stadium went, stadium came back again,
That's right.
and we still without the swimming facility, and at the same time, you folks were continuing to produce quality swimmers, you know. Here's a question now. My question is, why are all the other sports facilities are taken care by the Ministry of Sports? Why do the Swimming Association have to meet the cost in maintaining the pool? Wow, why?
Hmm.
Mhm.
But I
So
think that's a very good question.
yeah, one of our intention is one of our intentions is to probably approach the government as well to um, assist with the financing of this project. So we'll see how it works out.
But
I didn't think you
definitely,
had a lot to say, Bev. You want to say a lot, but I don't think you want to say. Neil, you continue.
yeah, we have to be. I mean, we have to be careful about what we say, because I mean, there's no telling whose ears it falls in and so forth. But the reality is, yes, we have had some engagement with the government on different levels, and as a matter of fact, we one of the last OECS championship that we participated in and won in St. Vincent. I think that was in 2018, 2020,
90,
2019, 2018.
90, probably
Yes,
90.
2019. Yes, and we actually had the privilege of having the then Minister of Sports with us, to come to share in the experience and whatnot. And I
Mhm.
think he really enjoyed it, and I think he really saw the benefit, that it can bring for Grenada and so forth. Unfortunately, from since then, the minister has been changed and so forth. So a lot of the initiatives that would have started, it seems like we have to go and start it all over again, because of course, if people are going to put
Mhm.
or invest into anything, they want to see the benefits and so forth. I know that some plans are in place and have already started in terms of engaging the government and so forth on different levels in terms of meeting the new executive meeting with the ministers and so forth, and in terms of engaging them and inviting them to come on board, because with a facility like this, as we would have mentioned before, there will definitely be spin-offs for the country as a whole, even persons who are not participating or who are not even involved in the sport of swimming, because I mean the hotels can have its spin-off, the vendors, the supermarkets, and so forth. Because I'll tell you this one thing, Michael, that I've noticed in my time being involved in swimming. Unlike many other sporting disciplines, where, for instance, let's say Carifta, for instance, uh, track athletes and other athletes that go off to Carifta and so forth. But most times, there's swimmers participating in whether it's Carifta or OECS or Goodwill or so forth. Sometimes there's a whole family that goes to support one swimmer, and I've never seen that overwhelming support in any other sport and discipline. I'm not saying it's not there, but I have never observed it. And so it will definitely, just you mentioned Barbados, Bahamas, and so forth. When a team travels from Bahamas, I mean, it's an overwhelming team, and then the support and so forth that goes along with them is really amazing. So I think it can really do a lot for our country.
Mm-hmm. Well, talking about the Bahamas and Barbados, well, it's Carifta Swimming Championships, and Grenada will be represented. So, Bev, you have the honors to give us the
yes.
team
So the
representing Grenada.
swimming, yes, the swimming is in Barbados, whereas the track and field, I think, is in Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
Let me just So we have a 7-member competitive team, and they are going to be accompanied by 5 officials. The coach is Coach Harrison. Yes, Coach Harrison. So we have Tilly Collymore. She is in the age 14, the 14 age group. She will be swimming the 50 back, 200 free, 100 back, 400 free, 100 fly, 50 fly, 100 free, 50 free. All these are preliminary events. If they get qualified, they'll have to go into the finals. Okay. There's Sarah Dowden, also of the 14-year age group. She will be doing 100 fly, 50 fly, 100 free, 50 free, 200 free, 200 IM, 400 free. There is Nathan Fletcher. He is age group 15. He will be doing 15 to 17-year age group. He will be doing the 50 back, 200 free, 200 IM, 100 free, 100 fly, 50 fly, 50 breast, 50 free. Then there's Zachary Gresham, one of our regional and international competitors. He is going to be doing the 50 back, the 50 fly, 200 IM, 200 back, 100 fly, 100 back, 50 breast. Gabrielle Heisen, another international and regional competitor, 100 fly. She is of the 15 to 17 age group as well. 100 fly, 50 fly, 200 IM, 400 free, 200 free, 400 IM, 200 fly. Kimberly Ince, our Olympian, Olympian international regional competitor, 50 back. She's in the 15 to 17 year age group as well. 50 back, 50 free, 100 back. That's what she's going to be doing. There's Joshua Wilson Dumont. He is in the 15 to 17 year age group as well. He's going to be doing 50 back, 100 back, 50 free, 200 free, 100 free, 200 back. I think that's it, 7 of them. Now, the thing is, all of these swimmers have participated in some regional meet before. Those that I probably didn't mention, some of them already, most of them, for example, Sarah and Nathan, apart from the others that I mentioned that are regional and international competitors, they have participated in Carifta before, 2019. They have also participated in CCCAN. Tilly, I think Tilly is, maybe Tilly did too. I'm not too sure, so I wouldn't say anything more. But they have all participated. Joshua Wilson Dumont, he has participated in some regional meets, Barbados, and so on. So they all have experience, and we are looking forward to some good performances from them.
No, yeah, because Pamela is saying Nathan was a CC Can medalist,
Yes. Oh
and
yes, Nathan.
also she said that Gabby, Zachary, and Kimberly are character medalists
All
themselves.
of them are character medalists.
Character
Yes,
medalists.
that's true.
Yeah, but it's interesting that
Thank you,
the,
Pam.
these swimmers go out there, and as she indicated too, they swim the prelims normally in the morning, and then the evening
Mhm,
time they do the final,
mhm.
right? But it's interesting because in some instances you have one swimmer who will be competing in at least eight
Exactly. Yeah.
eight
Correct.
events,
Yes.
quite a lot. Could you
Mhm.
imagine? Could you imagine a track athlete competing in 8 events?
Yeah, that's gonna
That is
to
a
qualify
heck
in
or
all
decathlon.
those. It's gonna be a lot. That will be
Mhm.
like 16 events if they
Yeah,
were.
but yeah, but if they move on, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's quite
It's,
a lot. I
yeah.
mean, wow, yeah, and I mean swimming. It means I mean a lot of power. You're talking about the arms, the legs, the body.
Right.
I
Mhm.
mean that's a lot.
So,
I mean,
yeah. So we have been noticing in the schools when these swimmers participate in the road relays and the cross countries, they usually are the ones taking the top places. Usually, we notice
mhm.
that most of the swimmers, when they participate in road races and long distance events, they usually come up in the top places.
Oh, and Laura is saying add
Yes.
relays to that also. So
Mhm.
wow, whew, that's quite a bit. I forgot about the relays. Thanks, Laura. So could
Mhm.
you imagine those individual events and then the relays? That's hmm, kudos to you people for I mean the swimmers and quite a lot. More reasons why I think that the swimming association should get all the support it requires because it appears from what I'm hearing that as it is now, swimming is almost is it? I mean, you can correct me. Is it self sufficient, self supporting? I should say not self sufficient, self supporting to some extent.
Actually,
Definitely.
self-supporting.
Definitely.
Wow.
And we do need the financial support if we
For
are going to
instance,
realize the
for
pool.
instance, Michael, the upcoming character meets, uh, basically it's the our swimmers will be the parents and so forth are taking the responsibility to have the swimmers who would have qualified participate and to attend. So it is a challenge for us. I mean we can't always be knocking on the parents, and that's why we're grateful for the few uh, corporate persons who do rise to the occasion from time to time when called upon, and we're inviting other persons because there's really benefit in swimming, and there's a lot of potential for Grenada in terms of making marks in the world of swimming, and so we're just really looking forward to what can happen.
I had to really take myself off camera and shake my head because you're telling me there now that you have swimmers who go in to represent Grenada at what is called the Carifta Swimming Championships. And most, if not all, the funding are by the parents. And I mean, give me some
What
clarity on that,
We
please.
do get
well my
some assistance from
Yeah.
GOCN.
Well, yeah,
Yes, we
that's
do.
Grenada Olympic
We have
Committee.
had.
Okay.
I must say that. I mean, we have had some assistance from the Grenada Olympic
Mhm.
uh, Committee, and I've had and they have definitely been on board with us for the last few years. We do get a lot of support from them from time to time, and uh, and I would like to say, apart from it, Mike, really, if I don't know if you've actually been to swim meets in recent times, but there are people who are so passionate about swimming that at the end of the day, that making the sacrifice comes easy in a sense, because you are driven by the passion for the sport. I mean, we recently had cricket in Grenada, and people came from all over the world. They come from far and wide because they love the sport of cricket. And cricket's a really exciting sport, and so I don't blame them. But I'd say swimming is definitely up there in terms of being able to create that excitement and so forth. And so people are willing to make sacrifices to keep the engine turning, to keep it rolling.
Yeah, well, I know. I have attended swimming championships before, Carifta swimming championships. I've gone to Olympic Games, Commonwealth Games, these sort of games, and see the sort of following swimming has, just like track and field, for example. In some instances, you have where tickets are sold out for swimming, these sort of things like that. So I know the sort of passion, the sort of interest that swimming draw, right? But I am saying here that yes, you do get some support from the Olympic Committee. But could you imagine in other sporting disciplines where parents have to take out money of their own, fork out money of their own to support their kids participating and representing the country? I'm not certain whether they will do that in track and field, whether they will do that in football, like, paid for your daughter to go to Jamaica or go to Trinidad representing the team. I mean, I can't understand it. And I'm saying that to say, because yes, you do receive some assistance, but from time to time you participate, whether it's OECS, whether it's, whatever it is, and not just character games, and it appears that in most cases, there are parents who will have to put, some support or whatever it is. It's sort of unfortunate. But again, I'm saying that swimming really deserves a little more attention. It deserves its fair share because you continue to produce quality competitors. I'm certain coming out of the Carifta Games, we'll have medalists. And what do?
I do believe so, yes.
We just say congratulations. We say that's the way 473, as we are accustomed to say, blah blah blah. And then 2 days after, we forget the swimmers. But folks, I'm giving you the opportunity to wrap up on a few words. Anything you wanted to talk about? Beth?
Go ahead, Beth. Sorry.
You see, the passion that Neil spoke about is a very important part of it. I think apart from the muscle memory Neil mentioned, I think the passion of the swimmers is what really helps them to succeed. And also the fact that we do so well, and the fact that you spoke about cricket and the followers it has. Swimming has a similar kind of passion. People follow it. And I think having a new pool will really be very impactful on our tourism industry. So we really, really need to get that pool going. And in our tenure, we hope to work towards it and make sure it is materialized, because I think it will have a grave impact on our tourism industry.
Neil?
Yes, I would like to add to what Beth has said, or further support it. And because there's definitely, as I said, a spin-off that from us being able to host and so forth, but also for us to be able to host and to have competitive meets, we have to have facilities that are of a certain standard. And we're talking millions of dollars, Mike. So whatever help we can get to make this become a reality, everybody is going to be able to benefit by this facility becoming a reality. And I believe it would even be able to spark interest, and we'd even be able to, as you say, expand as more people come on board, as there's more promotion and there's more awareness around the sport and the benefits of participating and so forth, that we can all be able to share in the benefits of it and be able to rally and make Grenadians proud.
Well, continue to hear, make Grenadians proud, but our swimmers continue to make us proud. So we need to give
Definitely.
them, we need to give them the support. And talking about support, I will continue to support you guys. Thank you very much for being part of the program.
Thank you for having us.
Pam also, thanks again for keeping me updated at times. Um, Pam always, keep me abreast of what's happening with our swimmers. Thanks very much. And, we'll be following their exploits in Barbados during the character championships. We would not be blinded by the track and field alone because we do have the swimmers who sometimes, they do come home with medals and sometimes the attention is just on the track and field. But
That's very true.
yeah,
Mm.
we'll keep them informed about that.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much, folks.
Thank you
Thank
too, Michael. We do appreciate you having
Mhm.
us. Thanks to the
Thank-
viewers as well.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much.
Okay then, thank you. Folks, so there you had it from yes, there, let me get it right. And I'm not in yeah. There you had it from both Neil Francis, the president of the Grenada Amateur Swimming Association, and Beverly Benoit, who is the public relations officer of GASA as well, providing us an update on all that has been happening regarding swimming. We'll have to continue with that conversation. I'll hope to invite them another time and probably have some other folks. We need to have a serious conversation and keep that conversation regarding swimming live. It's my commitment as well because what I will do is that I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina for the next few weeks. So I will ensure that somehow before I leave here, well, if they don't send me out before, that I will try to get swimming once again. We can probably do a post mortem of the swimming character championships, get some of the folks in, get Bev and Neil back on again. But we have to continue that conversation on swimming because you have been hearing from them, and it drives home the point that swimming has been shortchanged and continue to be shortchanged for quite a while. Because as I said, I recall it's more than 20 years now we have been hearing about this swimming pool. Okay, yes, more than 20 years. I've been out of the media for quite a while now, and I recall reporting on that. And it's a lot of in and out of, you hear budget presentations and you hear swimming pool, swimming pool, swimming pool. Every budget presentation of swimming pool. It's time for the swimmers to get what they have. There are swimmers who have came through, they have gone through, they have retired, they are not veterans, they're probably ready to coach, whatever it is, and there's still not a swimming pool. I think you can do them that honor of ensuring that there is a swimming facility, proper swimming facility, because I still can't understand how our swimmers continuing to train in that 25-yard facility at Good Hope, and yet for still going out there and producing miracles because they're competing against those who have the 25 meter, the 50 meter, the Olympic size swimming pool, and competitively they are there with them. Could you imagine if they really have the facility that they need, that they can train properly? Come on. I think it's time. Folks, thank you very much for being part of our program. The invitation is yours to join us on Saturday for our Saturday Sports Special. And then next Thursday again, we should be back on the ball because it will be into the Carifta. It will be the eve of the Carifta Games. Thank you very much, folks, for being part of our program. Hope to see you. Let me see if there's some points. Yeah. Thank you again, Laura Fletcher. Thanks again for all the information. You have been keeping me updated as well. Pam, always a pleasure being part of the program. Now have yeah, yes, Neil. I got that one. Certainly there are former swimmers who now have children who are swimming. Yes. So it is an indictment, I think, on these past swimmers, okay? And the only thing you can do is probably get something that at least in their lifetime, they'll be able to say, yes, there is or there was proper facilities for us and that we appreciate it. And the hope is that with such, you'll be able to motivate more of our young swimmers, getting them more involved in the sport, being part of the sport. Thank you very much for being part of our program. Invitation once again is to join us on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for the Saturday Sports Special.